Madam President and trustees, we're delighted to share as an information item this evening our annual environmental sustainability update. And sometime we've done it before, but we need to go back and hold this meeting at Freeman because our trustees who've joined us maybe haven't been out there yet. And of course, trustees in our community, you're welcome there any day. 40 acres, half is grassland and half is wooded. Is that still true? Okay, all right. I didn't know if that had changed. And a beautiful school that it serves the purpose of sharing environmental education with every student in our system. And, you know, I often talk to seniors and get to spend time with students. And one of their biggest memories that they share are of those field trips that you guys do. They remember those bones, Dave Siegel, that you teach them about. And the winter survival is imprinted on them forever. So thank you for that work. So trustees, in December, we were shorthanded. So, but tomorrow I will attach the December presentation. We're trying to attach the prior presentation for context. But in December, Mr. Lazzana brought our framework forward. It was the result of about 3 years of focused work and then a period of time, not the full 3 years, with the task force, with the Environmental Sustainability Task Force. I appreciate the leadership of the trustees who have served as liaison to that group. And so we did this about 100 days ago, but what we're bringing today is a rather significant update that includes our greenhouse inventory. So you're in for a special treat tonight, and I want to introduce this team, Mr. Emil Lazzana, who is the Executive Director of Environmental Sustainability, Court Ambrosino, and Dave Siegel, who are environmental educators for all 17,600 students. So they're kind of busy folks. Come on down, guys. You know what you want to accomplish. Thank you.
Good evening, Dr. Swift and trustees and the community. My name is Dave Siegel. I've been with the district for 35 years. I'm proud to serve every day. I was at the gravel pit today, and I just am thankful that I'm able to do that every single day and go on a field trip. My colleague?
Yeah, Court Ambrosino, environmental education teacher. Like Dave, I'm an alum of Ann Arbor Schools, and I'm now in my 5th year back with the district in a teaching role. So, yeah, I just want to say we're back with you about a year on since our last visit, and we are going to give a little bit of background and context about the program, but mostly wanted to focus on updates and accomplishments over the last year.
So since 1960, and this is a picture from 1960 with my dear friend Dorothy Blanchard. She speaking of volunteers, volunteered most of her adult life as part of the program, and I learned so much from her. She has passed away recently, but we remember her. And she's teaching students in the field, giving them an experience they can't get in their classroom. Just like today, we did the same thing. Took them to an experience that they can't get in their classroom. It gives a lifetime memory. It's experiential, and we're hoping that we can inspire the new environmental stewards of our earth.
So what is environmental education? We wanted to make sure that you all had a clear view of what we do and what the field is. And really is an interdisciplinary field, so incorporates a lot of different areas of study and does focus on the nexus of human and natural systems, so how we interact with the natural world. And that allows students and young people to build the skills that they need to make informed decisions and responsible action. Our very own Dr. Bill Stapp, who founded the program, people say that he wrote the book on environmental ed, and in many ways he did. And this is his thesis, right? That's right. Which was the foundation of the program for Ann Arbor Schools. And he was also part of the foundational conference where they defined environmental ed. And there's 5 categories within environmental education. So awareness and sensitivity to the environment and its challenges, knowledge and understanding of the environmental world, attitudes of concern for the environment and a motivation to improve and maintain environmental quality, and then to build skills that students can then apply by actually participating in the resolution of environmental challenges. We use this as a framework as we think about our existing programming and as we expand and build programming, and in somewhat of a progression as well. And we think about, age-wise, it doesn't fit perfectly with that, but with some of our newer programming for secondary students, we're really looking at those later categories of skill building and opportunities for students to participate in environmental action.
By the numbers, they're going up. 450 classes we're seeing now. That's 9,500 students that we're actually taking on a field trip, although we might meet other students along the way. With just Court and I, 2 certified teachers. Speaking of your volunteers, 2,000 hours of volunteers' time. And I have to say, I think you live longer if you volunteer for us, because we have a naturalist that's now 91 years old, Manfred Schmidt, and we had other naturalists like George Sexton, who did it for 96 years. We have 2 people that can take our place since we can't get anybody on frontline to just run a trip. Then we have 2 environmental specialists that can be our substitutes, but we're not often sick. Oddly enough, that we see so many students, but we must have a very good system. 40 acres at Freeman, but we use thousands of acres of land across the county, but we're very happy to have the 40 acres. We have 18 students on the Freeman Environmental Youth Council, and they've been working on 400 native plant seedlings, 80 trees, saplings that we propagated last year, so we're moving forward into a new world of generating plants.
We also feel really grateful for our place in the community, because we get to interact with so many different stakeholders within the school district and within Ann Arbor and Washtenaw County. So within the district, teachers, curriculum coordinators, administrators, physical property staff. We work a lot with transportation, because a lot of our programs are field trip based. Parents, a lot of parents come along on our programs, and of course our volunteers. We have a public-facing website that we try to keep up to date and pretty robust, that teachers use and also the community can see our current programming and projects. And then we have lots of community partners that allow us access to sites and collaborate with us. I won't read the whole list, but just feel blessed where we live to have so many different collaborators and people of great knowledge and resources.
So here are some of our current offerings. We start at the young 5s, and we have a lesson around their campus about habitats and what makes up a habitat. And we go out and search for pieces of that habitat. Kindergarten, I get to meet every kindergartner. I've stolen that away from Court. So I think I've seen like 30,000 individual people in my career. And so it's great to just go visit them. They remember me. I bring the bones and things. We talk about how animals survive the year. In first grade, the reason birds will come to your hand at Kensington Metro Park is because of this program in 1969. They started feeding birds, and we've kept that behavior going with over 1,000 first graders every year since then. And in second grade, we've got a new trip. It's a combination of our plant community trip, which we would have done around the town, but now we're focusing at Freeman, and we got a partnership with the Ecology Center funded by the city of Ann Arbor. And so now we have an all-day field trip for second graders.
In third grade, we offer an option. So a lot of teachers choose our pond habitat study, where students get to learn about aquatic organisms, and other classes go on a habitat walk and do a terrestrial habitat study, learn about relationships between different organisms and the shared resources in that habitat. Fourth grade is a geology study, so we visit a former gravel pit, and students get to learn about our glacial history and how rocks are formed, and then also collect and identify rock samples. In fifth grade, it's a outdoor education or type program with winter survival. So students work in teams to build a cooking fire using only natural resources, and learn, of course, safety and stewardship etiquette to prepare their lunch and clean up their campsite. So a very memorable program.
In sixth grade, we go to the campus again, and we study infrastructure and local watershed issues at each of the middle schools. And in seventh grade, we're piloting getting back to the MRF and the compost center for the city. We've partnered with the Ecology Center again, and funded by the city of Ann Arbor. And so we are able to now go and visit that whole area of recovery center. And in high school, we're conducting a new plant survey and invasive species management, where the students learn how to use a dichotomous key and use our woodlot quadrants that we had created once we got the property, and they will tag species for removal that are invasive.
So a little bit more about Freeman. So not far from here, located in Dixboro, probably just about a mile away, maybe less. Longtime Ann Arbor Public Schools site that was rededicated in 2018 as the Freeman Environmental Education Center. As Dr. Swift mentioned, it's 40-acre property, so a lot of space for students to explore. And we're working to make it a hub for environmental education and sustainability happenings within the district.
So when that advisory committee met that Dr. Swift talked about, these were the recommendations. I won't go through them all now, but there's a link here that you can go and visit and take a look at them. And we are well on our way to doing all those recommendations.
So some of the progress over the last year. Our second graders now all visit the Freeman Center, and they do half-day plant communities and half-day zero waste with Ecology Center instructors. So that's a great touch point and a big step forward for utilization of the site. And then our high school plant survey lesson that we launched this year. And a lot of AP environmental science classes and also ESS environmental systems and society classes from here on. And hoping that we can get even more of those high school classes out next year to participate in that trip.
Some of the other progress, we've been propagating plants, and we've been doing gardening projects like building compost areas and vermiculture. And so we continue on. We've even, the board has been really busy during the summer, in addition to throughout the year, managing the courtyard area in front of Freeman.
We have new outdoor seating, so a great space for meeting out there. And that's where we, for example, launch our plant communities lessons, and you can see our summer program campers enjoying that space. And also, currently in that space, there's an art installation that was led by a master's student from U of M named Aisha Biswas. She did a great job on this project, and it's connected to the prairie restoration we've been doing. And the art represents the deep-rooted prairie plants, and it's sort of an immersive feel when you're in that seating area, along with some interpretive signage to help students learn about those plants.
Inside the building, we're coming along and making it a very comfortable space. The walls have been painted. There's the 5 objectives of environmental education by color up on the walls. There are clings showing photographs from our field trips. And so it's starting to feel, when you walk in, like an environmental center. I think I'm going to be the next one. These are some of the historical photos that Eunice Hendricks saved us, and we had them blown up. So when you walk in through the hallways, you go back in time, and you see Dr. Stapp with students and a snake. You see Wine School was where it all began. That was the first school that started to participate. And so it's a little bit of a walk through history.
Students jumping on the bog at Waterloo, I would guess. And then beyond the school day. So beyond our trips, you've heard from our youth council tonight, and we use Freeman as our meeting space and as a place for some of our projects to be based. And then we have started offering a Rec and Ed summer camp, A2 Nature Guardians, which filled up really quickly last year, and it looks like this year is the same. So we'll have 2 weeks of summer programming. This year it'll be in July, and that's been a great addition to the Freeman offerings.
So in addition to students using it, the staff uses it for professional development. So you'll see Amy Deller and Tony Stam in there with teachers studying. And then service events happen. We just had a service event last Friday where people came, that you had talked about, and pulled out invasive species, cleared the trails from the damage from the ice storm. And I even met a student that wanted to help me in my own yard, so I hired him. So that's good. And then we have the IB and program also participating with their Group 4 project.
We're excited about that. That's a collaboration that looks like it'll continue next year. It's an interdisciplinary research project, and Freeman sort of served as the launch day for their study. It was great. Wanted to talk a little bit about the A2C endowment. So this was established in 2001. And it extends the capacity of Ann Arbor Public Schools to offer experiential learning opportunities that are connected to the district's hands-on, inquiry-based science program. So that's sort of the mission of the endowment. Dave and I help, we serve on the committee, and we also help spearhead the annual giving campaign. And the disbursements from this endowment provide us resources for equipment and supplies, professional development, and access to some of our field trip sites. The committee has also been, especially since the Freeman Initiative got underway, providing runway funding for some of the expansions as we're getting things going and doing pilots and new projects, some runway funding like helping us get our youth council off the ground. We do see this as an opportunity as we continue to grow as one venue that can provide resources for the expansion.
And our goals. We want to continue to run the programs that we're running. We want to pursue an expansion to the recovery facility out on Platte Road. We're piloting it this year, but I think next year we'd like to run all the 7th graders through that program. I think it's ready to go. We'd like to research and develop an 8th grade pilot trip that would focus more on climate change dynamics and mitigation and adaptation strategies for students. And then we'll continue to propagate plants, but we would increase that effort across the district.
And then just some greater vision. So obviously the urgency of the climate crisis itself, and then our own stated goals, the Freeman Advisory Committee goals for the Freeman Center and our own environmental sustainability framework. All of that is, great momentum for us expanding environmental learning opportunities across the district with the resources that we have. And then, some of our goals also include to expand the grade level offerings. So it's a progression and students, really young 5s to 12th grade is our goal for that. More opportunities for students to participate in environmental action and place-based stewardship projects, especially in our own outdoor learning environments. Such so many resources that we have on our own properties and habitat enhancement, for example. And then, of course, the sustainability curriculum as part of the environmental sustainability framework. We want to continue to support that and help with that expansion. That's a big task because there's a lot of opportunities for students to learn in this important area. So we do see the need for additional resources and staff in the coming years in order to reach those goals. And teachers will need training on those new lessons. And then also strategic curriculum planning because it's very full, right? And so where do these new opportunities fit in our curriculum and where can they be integrated? And then finally, just wanted to really draw some attention to, again, that student involvement in the outdoor learning environments where students are participating to enhance their own campuses and then also utilizing new infrastructure for outdoor learning, both with us, of course, but also with their own regular classrooms. So see a lot of great potential and opportunities there. We want to say thanks for the opportunity to be with you tonight, and of course, we're happy to take questions.
Thank you so much. It's stunning how many students you're able to touch and what a wide range. And I would love to learn some winter survival skills. So thank you.